Well, good morning, Peeps. How are you guys? It's a wonderful Tuesday morning. We're preparing for another winter storm here in southeast Minnesota. How are you guys doing? Hopefully, you don't have to get out and about anytime soon if you're going to be at the front of the storm we're facing. Uh, and of course, I'm always prepared. But let's see what Bell Hooks has for us for today. But many of us seek community solely to escape the fear of being alone. Knowing how to be solitary is central to the art of loving. When we can be alone, we can be without others. We can be with others without using them as a means of escape. Now I'm going to try that again because let me take another step, and we're gonna go at that again. But just let what I said already kind of percolate in there. Like I said, outside, I can feel it. Can you guys feel it? Like when the fronts come through, you feel that barometric pressure kind of come and go. I've been feeling it in my back since Saturday. I kind of did some things, twisted a little bit, and it has not been getting better. So I'm only sitting straight in front of a computer for the 10 minutes I've got with you. Other than that, I'm kind of laid up in bed or on the couch, stretched with the computer at a decent angle for me, and I'm certainly feeling uh, the coming storm. But I'm all cozy and tucked in, so all is good. But let's see what Bell Hook says again. So with that, we're going to tackle it one more time and see if I can read a little bit better this time, a little bit more smoothly. Uh, but many of us seek community solely to escape the fear of being. Knowing how to be solitary is central to the art of loving. When we can be alone, we can be with others without using them as a means of escape. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm a solitary being. As much as I love connecting with you guys, and I love community, especially if we're talking about something of substance, um, I really enjoy being alone. There is a luxury to solitude for me. And part of my creating this coffee break is the memories I have of elders of when I was a child, of sitting down and taking that moment to be with themselves, right? To sip their coffee, to take that moment and to luxuriate in the moment, luxuriate in the solitude before they were sufficiently charged enough to then connect with somebody else who might be sitting at that table, right? Before they have to go on to the tasks of everyday life. Just a break. Not only did my grandma do that over a cup of coffee around her kitchen table, but and appointments were really important to her. And when I had my kids, I did the same thing. I didn't realize how much of I tease and I say that I'm a Schopenhauer fangirl, but so was my grandmother. I don't even know if she read Schopenhauer, but that was her philosophy, right? Um, I'm sure she didn't know Marie Montessori, but that's how I was raised, and that's how I raised the kids. My daughters there was a Montessori set up in the house, so it's not like you go to school Montessori. It's just like life is Montessori. That was very much my grandmother. So we have different stations at different parts of the day with different jobs to do. Uh, and the job at 2 o'clock in the afternoon was to sit down. By then, we traded in our mugs for these. I've got one. So I'm gonna have to bring that one time and show you guys. They made them out of aluminum. So aluminum tumbler, and they had oh, beautiful colors. I just remember the beautiful colors that they were. Um, a magenta and gold and silver and teal blue, and there's whole sets of them because I remember those as kids. The cool thing is they didn't break. So on a farm, that was and they were colored in a way that you couldn't lose them in the grass, or they were hard to misplace. So those were bonuses of the time. Uh, but so we would trade in our mugs, which would look suspiciously like this, and probably made at the local um, pottery. They would have a ceramic, like where they would make just bowls and cups and dinnerware, but it was uh, mostly locally sourced, and that's so fun to see some of the stuff in the thrift shops that are from that old time when you know that these things were made locally and not shipped half a world away. Uh, and plain, nothing fancy. Just this is it, stable, last a lifetime or multiple generations, right? There's something wonderfully comforting about that. Just holding the cup for me, just like there's something wonderful about holding those tumblers. I remember sipping tea with her, and in the afternoons at 2 o'clock, she would take up her tatting, her lace work that she did, kind of like a crochet. It's a very, very. I'll have to bring some of that sometime too. And I'm not a big tatter, but I do have materials here, so I can show you what that looks like. And I've actually got some of her tatting that I can share with you too, which is cherished to me because it's not only because she did it with her own hands. I've got the memories of her doing it as as I'm sitting next to her as a priest. She was my preschool, right? I'm sitting next to her as she's doing her tatting. She's half blind, so she did it by feel, which is amazing because it's this intricate lace work, making doilies and bedspreads and tablecloths and all sorts of things. And she's not alone. There's a whole generation of those women that did that amazing needlework with whatever was at hand. Normally, it was real thin cotton twine, kind of a yarn, really more of a twine than a yarn. Um, and then at 2 o'clock, that was her next time to take a break, to center herself, to re-enter the solitude. Even though I'm a toddler and I'm right next to her, she could do that and model that for me. And that's what I did. And that's what I did for my kids at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We'd sit on the couch. I'd have a kid on either side of me because my kids are 13 and a half months apart. And they would have their chosen book, and we would be reading together and alone at the same time. They were pretending to read like I was pretending to read when I first started with my grandmother. But after a while, I'd be telling her stories. And then I could actually have the words on the page start to make sense to me. And those are magic moments. My kids were doing the same thing. They were pre-reading before grade school. And then because of moving and stuff like that and kind of trauma, same thing happened to me too. I was pre-reading and reading little bits before I entered school. But then because of disruption and just the school, right? I mean, that's a whole different setup. It's not snuggling with your grandma. Um, so you're sitting in the chairs with the fluorescent lights, and that was discombobulating for me. So I had to learn to read all over again to a certain extent, to learn to read in that environment as opposed to the other. And even all the way through, I would take the books that I needed to read, and I would wait till I got home so I could get the comfortable light, not the fluorescent lights and not the craziness of the kids, so I could be alone, feel that solitude before I could enter the world of story or enter the world of the other people, right? I was a weird kid. How many of you guys out there were weird kids? How many of y'all out there knew me as a weird kid? Yeah, you don't grow out of it, do you? Um, but let's read bell hooks one more time, and I'm going to leave you with that, and I will see you tomorrow. But let's read bell hooks before we say goodbye. But many of us seek community solely to escape the fear of being alone. Knowing how to be solitary is central to the art of loving. When we can be alone with others without using them as a means to escape. Bell hooks, wonderful. Put your 2 cents in the comments below, whether you're watching this live or in the replay. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to make this more of a participatory experience for everybody. But hopefully, even in these early days when it's just me, it's giving you value. So thank you for tuning in, and have a blessed day.